And if you made it to the end of this, comment an emoji. Oh, emoji. And if you made it to the end of this, oh my god, why can't I speak? Hi guys, it's Molly. Welcome and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, as it's the new year, I'm going to go through the 25 books or series that I want to get through in 2025. So I'll go through that with you all and have a little chat about the books and when I sort of plan on reading them. Okay, so books. The first book or series on the list is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. I do kind of plan on reading the third one, but I'm going to wait either until my local library get it or the paperback version comes out. I've already read the first book in the series and I really enjoyed it. I really loved the academic style of writing about fairies. It was really unique, and I'm planning on reading the second book in January, so I'll probably just be winging it for when I read the third one. The next book is Inspector Imanishi Investigates by Seicho Matsumoto. Please correct me if I'm saying that wrong. It's a murder mystery classic set in Japan, obviously, in the 1960s in Tokyo. And again, I think I'm going to try and read this in January because I'm really excited to get into it. Then we have Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I used to actually read Cassandra Clare when I was a teenager. I read The Mortal Instruments. I don't think it's her best work. Like, I really loved the first couple of books, but I wasn't a fan of the kind of forbidden romance that was popping up. If you know, you know. But I've heard this one is really good. It's her first foray into adult fantasy, I believe, and a lot of my favourite fantasy authors have also written pretty good reviews for this. Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about this one, and I hope it's as good as my expectations, so we'll see. And again, this is going to be another January book, I think. Next, we have the first proper series. We have The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. So I actually read the first book in this series near the end of 2023, so yeah, it's been over a year. But yeah, I did really enjoy it, but I just never got back round to finishing off the series. And you know, I actually found the rest. Otis. You know, I actually found the rest of the series for pretty cheap in charity shops, which was like pretty good steal. And I've heard they're actually making a movie for I think the first book, which I'm really excited about. You know, it's got Helen Mirren, Celia Imrie, Ben Kingsley, Pierce Brosnan, so I think that'll be a really fun watch, and I honestly think the actors will embody those characters perfectly. And I think for these I'm going to split them up over a couple months. I don't want to just be bombarded with murder mystery, so yeah, we'll see. Next book I've got is just a little one. It's Lady Susan by Jane Austen. This is one of my favourite little cloth-bound classics. Like, it's so pretty. I love the fountain pen motif. I want to read more of Jane Austen. I've loved her in 2024 and I will probably continue to love her work, so I just want to get through as much as I can, I think, in 2025. So yeah, this is on the list and I'm planning on reading this in May. Another May hopeful is Up at the Villa by William Somerset Maugham. I think that's his full name and I think that's how you say it. But yeah, I meant to read this in summer of 2024 and I didn't. I was meant to read it on my holiday, but I ended up just reading Crime and Punishment and then chillaxing by the pool. So yeah, this is one for 2025. Yeah, it's about a woman who goes to a villa in Florence and she contemplates her marriage and all the stuff that went wrong. So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting read and it's quite short, so I should get through it quite quickly. Then we have another series. It's the Hunger Games series by Suzanne. For the life of me, I can't find where the first book, The Hunger Games, is. I found Catching Fire and Mockingjay, but I cannot find the first book, so I'll have to do that before I read it. And I also actually need to get The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and then I'm so excited for Sunrise on the Reaping because it's Haymitch's Hunger Games story, and I've been like crying out for that story for ages. Like, I've needed it and we're finally getting it, and we're getting a movie, and I'm so excited. I read the series as a teenager and I want to reread it in preparation for that new book, so I think I'm going to read it over the summer so I have some time to just get stuck in and like get back into the world and all that. So yeah, that'll be fun. Then we have another little short classic. It is A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr. Again, I meant to read this in the summer of 2024 and I just never got around to it, but yeah, it's a short little book. I should be able to read it quite quickly in 2025, and it just seems like a picturesque kind of book to read, so I don't know, maybe spring summer kind of reading. I haven't fully decided yet. And then another series, we have All for the Game by Nora Sakavic. I haven't read the new book, A Sunshine Court, yet, and I absolutely adored this series when I was younger. It was in competition with the Raven Cycle series for me because I read them both around the same time, and just I love the characters and the plot of this story, and I can't wait to read the new one. I think I'm going to revisit this series in August, so again it'll give me more time to get stuck in, and I'll be on holiday in August anyway, so I'll have all the more spare time to read a lot of series, a lot of books. Next we have the Ninth House series by Leigh Bardugo. If you know me, you know I love Leigh Bardugo and everything I've read of hers. The Six of Crows duology is my absolute favourite. I love The Familiar, so I'm hoping I love this series. I haven't got the second one yet, but I'll either borrow it from the library, or if I love the first one, buy it for myself, and I'm planning on reading this in autumn, probably September, November time, I think. Then we have Babel by R.F. Kuang, another book I meant to read last year, never got round to, but I'm hoping to read it in September. Then we have Minor Detail by Adanya Shibli. Correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. This is a book I picked up recently and I do really want to read it in 2025. At the moment I've got it penned down for December, but I might read it earlier depending on how my reading months go. Next we have Perfume by Patrick Suskind, again correct my pronunciation. It's about a man who's trying to find the perfect scent, and he starts doing this by murdering young women. It's all in pursuit of this ultimate perfect perfume, which is a bit weird, but I watch Criminal Minds, so seems right up my alley. For some reason I have this planned for July. Maybe because it's set in France, but yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, we'll see. Next on the list we have Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I've actually never read her before, even though I've seen her everywhere on my Bookstagram and Booktube, and I myself have been interested in reading her, but I just never got around to it. But I was immediately drawn to this cover. I don't like the white version of it, but I love the black version of the cover. It just screams dark and mysterious, and I love that for me. And obviously this is going to be a perfect autumn read, so I have this penned down for November. Next we have the ultimate dark academia book, The Secret History by Dana Tartt. I think this is one of my, as Ariel and Raylene from Books Unbound would say, mashed potato book. It's one of those books that I'm expecting so much from it that I just keep putting it off, because what if it doesn't do it for me? You know, like everyone on my Bookstagram seem to love it and love it and love it, and I'm just like, I think I'll probably love it, but what if I don't? You know? But as this is a dark academia book, I've got this down for September, because September to me just screams school, because that's when the back to school season is. Then we've got By Any Other Name by Jodie Picoult. This is a chunker. This book sort of discusses the role of women in the arts throughout history, and it's a dual POV between a modern Manhattan playwright and an Elizabethan era English playwright who uses William Shakespeare to publish her work. I do really love these kind of retellings where they don't necessarily change history, but they change the context behind the history. It's just really interesting how they try and weave it all together. And this chunker is a January book, so I'm starting strong. Pray for me. Next we have, I think, the ultimate chunkers, the Live Ship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb. Yeah, that's just the first book. The second book is bigger, and I don't know how long the third book is. Robin Hobb is one of my new favourite authors that I've discovered in 2024. I love the Fawcett trilogy. Like, I know a lot of people don't really like political aspects of high fantasy, but I actually really, really love it. Just all these people figuring out strategies for their own... What is it? What's the word? Can't think of the word.
One eternity later.
For their own gain! Oh my god. I forgot a four-letter word, but I really enjoy how all these people come up with different strategies for their own gain. And as these books are chunkers, they're going to be split up through the year, probably one every 4 months, you know, like, I don't think I can read one in 1 month alongside a bunch of other books, so I'm gonna have to compromise. Then we have The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. It seems to be quite similar to the storyline of The Haunting of Bly Manor, at least in so that a governess goes to an estate and looks after 2 orphans, you know, and it promises to have a haunting atmosphere, so I've got this down for October. Another October book is All These Sunken Souls by various authors. It's a black horror anthology, and I learned about it because the booktuber Fictional Fakes actually wrote a story for it. There are 10 stories in total, which is kind of weird because I'm reading it for the 10th month of the year, and it's edited by Cersei Moskowitz, who is a macabre fiction writer herself. Oh, the stack is stacking. Then we have House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, another book I've been meaning to read because it sounds really interesting, and I've actually been recommended it by one of the girls in my work. So I'm going to be reading this in July. Another series on the list is the Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater. I never know if I'm saying her name right, but this is one of my absolute favourite series of all time, and I'm due a reread big time. These books are quite easy to read for me because I've read them so much, and they're not actually that long, so I'm hoping to read the series within the first quarter of the year, so the first 3 months. But yeah, I absolutely love the series and I can't recommend it enough. Next book we've got is Fruit of the Dead by Rachel Lyon. This is a modern retelling of Hades and Persephone's love story, and it's just essentially normal girl meets billionaire. And I absolutely love this edition. Like, look at that sprayed edge. Like, isn't that gorgeous? And as it's a book about Persephone, I'm going to read it in May. It's gonna be May. Next up is another Jane Austen book, Love and Friendship, and I'm going to read this in December. I honestly don't even know what this book is about because the Penguin Fan Classics don't come with blurbs, or some of them don't. But I am an Austen girly at heart, so I doubt I'll hate it. Then we have Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. I recently read the Alice Sixspire, and I really enjoyed the magical system and how the magic sort of seemed to intertwine with known elements, forces, and all that kind of jazz. Plus, I love vampires, so I'm hoping I like this book. And last but not least, we have the Guinevere Deception series by Kirsten White. I recently read Lucy Undying by the same author, which is basically a book that details what happened to Lucy Westenra after the events of Dracula, if she survived. It's very intriguing, and I really like what she did with the character of Lucy, and it doesn't hurt that one of my favourite illustrators designed the cover. And so this book is a retelling of Arthurian mythology. The premise is basically Guinevere is a changeling, and she marries Arthur to keep Camelot and him safe. I really love Arthurian mythology. Like, I devoured the BBC Merlin show, so I'm really hoping this lives up to my expectations. And I think I'm going to try and read the whole series in March. Is the stack stacking? I know this is technically more than 25 books, but my goal for 2025 is to finish some series because I didn't finish any in 2024. So yeah, I'll be doing 25 books and or series in 2025. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know if you're going to be reading any of my 2025 TBR yourself. And if you made it to the end of the video, comment an emoji you'll think you'll use more this year. I'll see you next time. Sweet dreams. Oh my god, it's gonna fall.